All right. Hello, everyone. This is the Patrick DuChene webinar. We're going to get started here. So just quickly before we begin, my name is Mike. I'm one of the salespeople here at DynaSCAPE Software, taking over for Joe Salemi, who normally does these. So just a couple quick things before we begin. Today's agenda, I'm going to go through a couple of housekeeping items and mention about how this broadcast is going to be working, and then we'll get into Patrick's presentation, which will consist of working with plant labeling and hardscape labeling, it being a refresher along with some time-saving information on the benefits of these, as well as he's going to be creating a hardscape packet. For anyone who's aware of DynaSCAPE software, that's not something that is pretty standard, so we're all very interested to see how that works. And then we're also going to be looking at resizing leader text and labeling text, and then also looking at presentation quality with DynaSCAPE Color. So before we begin, this webinar is going to be recorded, and it will be posted to our website hopefully by early next week. So everyone who attends this and perhaps anyone who missed this will be able to watch it on our website at a later date. And if anyone has any questions throughout the presentation, or if they need anything clarified, please submit it in the questions box on your right-hand panel there, and I'll do my best to answer a couple of them, or hopefully all of them, at the end of this, and get Pat to go through those. Anything else we'll put together and we'll send out in an email later on as well. So just one other thing is our DynaSCAPE's next trade shows. For anyone who are in these areas, we're going to be attending the iLandscape show in Schaumburg, Illinois, February 25th to 27th, as well as the New Jersey Landscape Association show. We're doing a workshop the day prior, as well as the show itself on the February 24th. And again, this is my information here. For anyone who needs it, I'll put it up again at the end of the show. And without further ado, we'll switch it over to Patrick. Here we go. Sorry. You all set, Pat?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
You hear me okay now?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the webinar today. I have four things to go, four plus like a little bonus thing that I started doing. And I want to kind of go back to basics. I've been kind of doing like these little tricks I've figured out, and even little tricks I've learned that other people are doing. But the more and more trainings I've done this winter, I'm seeing a lot of users not doing quite a few basics and fundamentals that are costing them a lot of time. So I think in the next few webinars, I'm really going to go over, I mean, we might spend more time on like prototypes and just some things that are kind of no-brain things that people may know how to do, but they're not doing. So I really want everybody to start disciplining themselves to get into some of these things, make them standard practice, to start really cutting down on the amount of time you spend in these drawings. So the easy one on the agenda is resizing texts, because I'm still getting some questions about this. So there's two ways of entering in text. There's leader line text, which obviously has a leader line attached to it. So I'm going to insert a lot of these, and I will copy these down. So I'll show you how to kind of resize multiples. So we'll copy those. Okay, the other text is, I just call it floating text, and I will put in floating text. I'll click that, and I will copy this down also. Okay, so in drawings, I like to resize all the text. There's global settings you can reset to, but I just tend to do mine kind of real quick. I batch size them at the end. So if you go to in your advanced settings toolbar, right up here, it says revise text attributes. So if I click this and I type in 2 feet and 2 feet, and then I left click all these. Now this is the slower way of doing it. And then I right click them, it expands the text. If I want to make them 4 feet, I type in 4 feet. I can left click, right click, right click, or just highlight all of them at once and right click. So all I'm doing on each one of these is I'm left, right, left, right, left, right, or you can draw a line from the bottom up to the top left and right click. But you can't do that with leader text. If I left and right click, nothing's happening. So you want to select this that says revise text with leader attributes. So we'll select this one and type in 2 feet and 2 feet and left click and right click those. Or again, select them all at once. Or especially like on a drawing when you have these stacked up, you can just take your line all the way up and resize them. So if you have them in a drawing here and maybe a batch here and a batch here, and you have some floating text kind of all over a drawing like this, to resize all that, let's just make this, let's make it 2'5" and 2'5". 2 feet is the size that in drawings I think looks good. So I can just click all those, click all those, click all these, and right click. And then to do the floating text, let's make those 4 and 4. We'll just click, 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 and right click. That's all there is to it. In another webinar, I showed how to change title text size. So that's I think that was in either the last one or the one before that. So that's resizing text. So one of these get back to basic things is plant labeling. There are some real crucial things to make sure you're doing when you're plant labeling. Let's throw in, let's change my sheet size. Let's get down to like, what am I on? Yeah, let's get down to a small size. Okay, I'm going to just make, well, actually, we'll just really quickly go over grouping too. So let's say we have a hedge. Let's actually make this look decent here. Let's put a hedge in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's pretend there's a set of steps, and we copy those over. We'll put in some grasses in front of them. 1, 2, 3. Copy these over in the front of those. Let's put a tree over here. Let's resize it to 15 feet here. Now we're going to also go over some hardscape labeling too. So let's just make some generic steps. Let's see what distance I have between these. Okay, 6'10". So let's draw a couple steps. 4 foot by, let's put a 14-inch tread on them, like that. Let's copy that step. This is all going to be utilized with hardscape labeling. So there's 3 steps. Let's move these plants next to there. We'll move these next to here. And let's put in a walkway. Just a really quick, simple walkway. Make sure we're in the right layer. Change this over to porch step. And then let's go to walkway layer for our walkway. And let's just do a really fast, kind of a rectangled step. Come in here as square as we can and close this. Okay? All right, so there's that. Then let's just do a quick, like a 6-inch border. We'll offset that inside. Okay, so we have steps, a walkway, some plantings, and a tree. Okay, so let's group the plants first. So up, I always call it the spilled milk tool because it looks like a puddle of spilled milk. Blend and group figures. I always unselect the check mark, and we enclose all the things that we want to group together. So now these are grouped. I can move those all around. I can copy them if I want. Up. Okay, so we'll group the grasses. Group those. And this you don't have to group because it's by itself. So if we had a drawing that, let's just put a real quick border on this, maybe like a building layer border. And let's go into our accessories or our figure libraries into title block accessories. No. Horizontal. There you go. The scale of the drawing is 1 inch equals 10. So let's go to 8.5 by 11, 1 inch equals 10, and let's just put this down in the corner. All right? So we enter in all of our title text. I'll just put some basic stuff. DuChene, residence, street address, 1234, designer, way. Everything populates nicely. Somewhere, New Jersey. Okay? So everything is laid out real nice. I could put scale, date, everything. All right. Grouping. So this will kind of fall into presentation too on doing a nice presentation. But we want to get these projects centered on our sheet. Let's create ourselves a guideline out to the side to run our label text to. And someone showed me this kind of little trick she does with labeling, and I think it's pretty cool. What she does is she'll run a line out, which I always would do, and run all my text. But then she offsets her line 4 feet. One here, one here. And you'll see what happens. We'll go into our plant list, and first you're going to start out at DynaSCAPE.com. So let's make these green gem boxwood. Okay, let's not make those green gem boxwood. Let's do Okami cherry without a T at the end, and then it'll show up. Okay, so if this is a plant that you use consistently, you want to add it to your plant list or your favorites list. So then you're not having to go type this in every time at DynaSCAPE.com. So we're going to right-click this and add it to my plant list. What that's going to do is it's going to put it in, I think it puts it in like a file in your computer where it will bring this up. So when you go down here, you will find Okami cherry that we just looked for. So there's the botanical, there's the common. This is the plant that Horticopia, that it's linked with through Horticopia. So if I were to label, insert picture for that from the feature in DynaSCAPE that's the plant picture insert, this is the picture that will come up. But I don't want to use that. That looks more like an automalis or something like that. So I'm going to go use custom picture, and I'm going to go into my library of where I have plant pictures. That's the plant that I want to show. Then if you want to put sizing, you could put 2.5 inch to 3 inch caliper. We'll add that. Size, 2.5 to 3 inch. Let's say it's $135. Okay, no, $135. Okay, so now in your plants you have the Okami cherry. If you wanted to add this if this was like a service berry, you wanted to put single stem or multi-stem or add anything topiary, you can type those in and it'll save it. So we have a size, a price, we have our picture for that now, and we're going to save and close. So now when you label your drawings, you can label out of My Plants and just type in Okami, and there's your Okami cherry. So we're going to click Go. We are not going to click Insert because Insert inserts only one. Now on this, we get by with it because there's only one Okami cherry. But on the boxwoods and the grasses, it won't be accurate. So we're going to click Go, which is Auto Count. I'm going to click that. I'm going to click left, left, right. So there's my first label. So if I wanted to label like a boxwood, these are all some that I've set up already. Let's just make those knockout. No, those are too small for knockout roses. Let's see if I have boxwoods in here yet. Boxwood. Okay, I don't. So we'll just make those knockout roses. So there's knockout roses. I'm going to run this to this side. And then those grasses, we're going to make those grasses. Let's see what kind of grasses I put in here. Or we could do, let's make those coneflower or something. Okay, Magnus coneflower. So this label is going to run inside. So we get this cool stagger. We have that cool stagger. So then what I'm going to want to do is take the drawing, and I could either slide this over so our text is not to the side, or we could highlight, we could move these lines over and highlight the text, get your constraints on, and just slide these little control points over. So now we didn't have to really move the drawing, which it's better to try to adjust these and not the drawing. So let's save this, which I should have done when I started. That was bad of me to do that. Let's save this as planting and labeling, just labeling practice. Okay. So now, if I were to insert images, I would left click and right click on double knockout. That's the picture in the plant list that I made, that I assigned. If I were to go to that in here and go down the line, every time I click a new plant, those are the particular, or those are the specific pictures I told the software to bring into my plant catalog in my drawing. So then you're not getting to where you have to go find your picture each time. You don't have to, when you make your plant packet, you don't have to go to a custom picture and reassign those. So this is one of those, this is an example of doing a little bit of work up front to save yourself a ton of time at the end. I mean, this, you could add all your favorites in like an hour, 2 hours, but look at how much time that saves you through the season, not having to research these in DynaSCAPE.com, reassign the pictures or put custom pictures. So let's just float these pictures in the drawing. So we're going to left click, right click, insert image. I don't want botanical, I just want the border and the common name. So let's put this one, let's put that like right there. Okay, next one, coneflower. Same thing. It's the picture I put that I wanted to show. Okay, so let's float that there. Now, these are a little bit too low, so I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to shift it up, and then I'm going to go to this tool, and I'm going to move those back into the boxes where I want them to go. So now they're not hovering so low on my drawing. Okay, that's better. All right, now I want to try to get this last picture aligned on this line so these are kind of balanced. If we can do that, that's good. If not, it's all right. So Okami cherry, there's the picture I assigned. We're going to drag this in, but this time I'm going to drag it up like this. So now it's on that baseline, but let's slide this over a little bit so it's kind of the same distance from here to here as these are. Those little details when you're laying out presentation drawings make a big difference when things are spaced really well. I mean, you could really be exact and measure the distance between this and this. That's 3'3". That one there is 3'2" and 51/64. So for now, that's close enough. Okay, so we have some plants. Let's take this stuff, move it up a little bit. Okay, let's save it. So now if I wanted to make a plant packet out of this, and I export plant picture catalog, these are the plants in there. Those are the plant pictures I chose to put in my plant packets. We'll just keep it called labeling practice. We click finish. It says, where do you want to save this? Let's put plant labeling packet and click save. And it's going to generate your plant packet immediately. So there's my plant packet. It's that easy. I didn't have to go and select custom. So if you do not do this, you get into where this could be a horticultura picture you don't like, and then you have to go custom and you have to go through all that. So that is the quickest way to do your plant packet. Then, because you have saved these in your favorites, well, you can do it without it being in your favorites, but I can also export this list. Let's not worry about botanical, but let's export this to Excel. And I don't know why it's not showing. Double knockout Magnus Coneflower. It will show you your plant list with the plants in your drawing and the pricing and the sizes. And I'm not sure why. What's that? Double Okami and Magnus Coneflower. Not sure why that one's not showing up. It may have been the way I set that up. That was from a demo. So it will show you in a nice spreadsheet the plant material that's in your drawing. So do some work getting your favorites into your plant lists with your sizing and pricing, and that will allow you to see how much cost you have for the plants that you need. And you can copy and paste that right out of your Word document or your Excel document and throw it right onto your proposal rather than typing up all that information. So hardscape labeling kind of works similarly, but not exactly the same. These are some examples of just quick ones I've used for demos to show hardscape labeling. So let's set up a new label. Let's set up Techo Blue 60mm walkway. And we're going to go square feet. And Techo Blue 60 is, I don't know, I don't even know anymore. It's probably like somewhere around it's probably about $3 a square foot, I think. Okay, so we're going to click close. So now it's right here. Let's do, in our new descriptive label, Techo Hera 6 by 6 square feet. Let's do feet. Now that, with feet here, this is if you would know how much it costs per foot. I'm not sure what that is right now, so it's, let's just say it's $4 a square foot, so I don't know. Let's just make up a number, $2 a foot. So if I want to label this walkway, I'm going to include quantities. I'm not going to show quantities on labels because I don't want a customer to see square footages. You can do this if you want to do like a takeoff drawing and show the quantities to help you estimate. Or you could do that and just put the quantities on your drawing and then just turn that layer off when you want to show the customer. But I think this is a really cool tool to reduce a lot of typing for hardscape labeling. So if we wanted to make this a blue 60 millimeter walkway, I would type in, or I would select Techo blue 60 millimeter walkway. I would go down here and go click or measure area by clicking inside, and then I'm going to click go. So I'm going to click, left click, right click, left click. And I'm going to drag this, let's just drag this over here. So there's my square footage. Actually, I really didn't want to show square footage, but it's actually good that you're seeing that it does that for you. So that's the square footage. Then we want to do the border. So let's do the Techo Hera border. And that we want to click the perimeter because we want to know how many linear feet that border is going to be. And then we're going to click go. And we're going to left click, right click, and then left click again. And I'm going to drag that out. So I want to fix this Magnus Coneflower and make that work. So let's go to, let's do like, we wouldn't put that. Let's do like this plant here and click go and make that those. So if this works correctly, which I don't know why that didn't, I can click now that I have hardscape material on here. If this was a landscape bed up here between the walkway and the porch, kind of like this, I could go and I could make that like a large pea gravel. I could click inside the area and I could click go and I could let, well, that one wants to be outlined. So we'll draw a polygon around that one and we'll click go. And I'll click and I'll outline these areas, right click, and then left click again. And there's the square footage for that bed. So now when I click export, let's do it to Excel. And we want to make sure we have plants and materials. When we click export, I don't know why that one mill plant's not showing up there, but now we can see that we have the square footage for the pea gravel, the blue 60, and the Hera. So in that example for pea gravel, I didn't put a price per square foot in there. But if I had, if it 211 square feet, let's say we had like, I don't know, $65 worth of material. This shows you how much cost you have, and you could, I mean, it's not the right way to estimate, but if you are one that multiplies things by 2.5 or 3.5, and that works for you, that can give you a pretty quick idea of what kind of installation price it would be. The other thing you can do, if you want to really use this to help you give good numbers, is in this plant editor, in the prices, you could put what the installed price is in here. So if you're buying a plant at $20, you're probably going to charge $60, $65, $70 to install the plant. So that could even get you even more accurate to just giving somebody a rough estimate. I don't think you'd ever want to do it a detailed proposal like that because there's a lot more factors like your overhead and mobilization and equipment and things like that. Okay, so please start using the plant and hardscape labeling. Look how much time this just saves you. When you want to label like large square border, I don't show quantities. I click perimeter and I click go to this line. I didn't have to type anything. It's there. So that's just really cuts down on your time. The only thing that you'd want to make sure is on here, I have made these not in all caps and these in all caps. So you probably want to keep that consistent. But I don't really do much design work on this computer, so it's not that really crucial to have that set up on this one. Okay, so just get into a habit of doing that. Now, Hardscape Packets. This is something that I can't remember where I was. Where was I? I can't remember. But somebody came up with the idea of, we were talking about wanting to kind of showcase pavers. And the one way you can do that is by going into your Hardscape images, going, if you're using EP Henry, you can float in an EP Henry fire pit in your drawing. But what if you don't want to put pictures on your drawing? I mean, I see merit in both theories or philosophies, I guess. I think plans look really nice with plants and Hardscape on them, but I also think they look good without them. So everybody has their preference. I don't think there's a right and wrong way to do it. I like having the stuff on the plan because it's just that much less. That's less media you need to take to a presentation, and then it doesn't get too clumsy and too much stuff sitting on a table and distracting. So we came up with this way of making a Hardscape packet, which is not a feature that's built into the software. And what you're essentially doing is tricking the software into doing something it's capable of doing, but it really isn't. It's not designed to do, I guess. So if we had that, let's go back to this drawing. And this was Techo Blue, Hera, and pea gravel. If we wanted to make a plant packet for that, what I would do, or not a plant packet, a Hardscape packet, I'd go to my Softscape labeling, and I would create a new plant, and I would call that plant in the common name Techo Block Blue 60 millimeter, and I'm going to click Save. Then I'm going to make another one, new plant, and I'm going to call it Techo Block, what was it, Hera. Hera. I'm going to click Save and Close. Then let's do large pea gravel. Large. Let's do Delaware Blend Stone. Delaware Blend Stone. And I'm going to click Save and Close. So look what we did. First, the first step, we got these built in here. There's our Techo Blue, our Hera, and our Delaware. Now we want to go and assign an image. So here's Techo Blue. We're going to go to Hardscape Images. We're going to go to Techo Block, and we're going to find the blue 60 millimeter picture, which I know is in here somewhere. There. Blue 60 millimeter. Okay, so see, now it's assigned. Techo Block Hera. Same thing. Use custom image. There is Hera. Delaware Blend. Use custom image. And now we're going to go to textures and lawn mulch and stone, and let's put in that picture there, which really is not ideal for this because it's not sized for it. Let's change that. Let's just change it to that one. That's really not Delaware Blend, but it works. So now we have the name and the picture. So we're going to save and close. So what I'm going to do off to the side is just out in space. I'm going to plant label. I'm going to type in blue. There's my Techo Block Blue, and I'm just going to go Insert. Then I'm going to go Hera. And there's Techo Block Hera. Oh, Insert. Whoop, wrong one. Hera, Insert. So right now, what the software thinks it's putting plant labeling in there, but it's not. It's really, well, it kind of is. But the last one was gravel. See? What did I name that thing? Where was that? Oh, it was Delaware. Okay, so Delaware. Okay, so there's Delaware Blend. Insert. Okay, so now here's the trick. there are other material, or there's other plants listed in this. So when I go to create my plant packet, there's my plant, but there's my Teco Blue and Heron Delaware Stone. So if I were to make a plant packet, I would unselect my hardscape stuff and make the plant packet, and it will only show those. But I want to make a hardscape packet, so I'm going to unselect these. I'm going to click Next, and I'm going to say Labeling Practice Hardscape Packet. We obviously don't want to show botanical, only show common, which is why I didn't even type anything into botanical, because I don't need that. As soon as I click Finish, we're going to put it on the desktop as Plant Labeling Hardscape Packet, and I'm going to click Save. So there's my hardscape packet, which I think that's pretty cool because plant packets are great, but hardscape packets are nice because you can very quickly now show somebody what their materials are looking like right on a piece of paper. If you had this on your iPad, you could zoom in and you could move them around, you know, if this had multiple items. So again, it's all you're doing is making the software think you're putting in plants, but you're putting in hardscape labels. And I just float them out to the side, so then when obviously you print and color, they're not sitting there. Now, don't congest the outside of your drawings with too much stuff, because I think it can cause some things with color where it doesn't really like to have a lot of stuff outside. But so
Really a question, but just one thing that a couple people were asking about. Everything that Pat's done here within the design software does assume that you're just using design exclusively and you're using the Horticopia plant database it comes with. This doesn't have anything necessarily to do with the Manage 360 software in that database.
Not at all. This is all stock features with design outside of Manage. So that anybody who does not own Manage can do everything that I just did.
Okay, so one question here was could you just review one more time the plant label image drop on the drawing?
Yes. All right. So when you want to insert a plant image, you go to Imaging. Anything that has to do with inserting rasters, or in other words, a picture onto a plan, you go into Imaging. And right here, if you hover over it, says search for a plant image based on a plant label. If you click this and then left click and right click a plant label, it will bring up, now this is because this was the favorite picture I showed. If you click the online image, yeah, it doesn't even show it right there. So I've customized the image. It will bring in the Horticopia image. But if you want to use your own image, you just click on Custom, and you click on Browse, and you go to your plant images. And if I wanted it to look like that and clicked Open, now it's switched to this. So then you just click Insert Image, and you decide where you want this to go. So I want it to start here. I left click here. I drag down, and I left click there. Okay? Now, if you wanted to insert, it will not work, though, if you're doing your plant labeling like this. 3, Winter Gem, Boxwood. It will not work if you have this, because this was not done out of the plant labeling. So if I click this and left click and right click, oh, stinking thing worked. It normally doesn't, but that's not a good practice to label anyway.
One other thing was just the border you've used here. This is the building layer, was it not, for your border?
It was. It was building border, and if you're getting into kind of making your own borders or templates, what kind of looks neat, though, if you took this a little further and you offset this, let's see what 3 feet looks like. Now, let's do 1.5 foot, 1.5, like this, and then you like change this over to a walkway layer. You can really start making some neat looking borders on your drawings. I mean, it's almost like a picture frame kind of a look. And then you just take this little box here and shift that up, and all your title text goes with it. You can move this box anywhere you want, and the title text goes with it because you have things called nodes. These are little placeholders that follow that dialog box or the title box. So if you decide you really wanted that somewhere else for a drawing, you could shift that over here, which, if you're doing things the best way, you shouldn't be in a position to have to do this because you should have prototypes built, which is webinar 1, which I think I'm going to do again just as a recap in a future webinar.
You had a previous webinar as well that discussed your plant catalogs and plant database, did you not?
Well, some of that could have been just in files, where I have a folder with all my plant images. So every drawing I do for anybody, when they have certain plants, I look up the best ones, I save them in here, and you eventually get to a certain point where you have almost all the plants saved in this. I mean, there are some very nice pictures in Horticopia, but then there are some that I would prefer to show a different picture. So I just stick with custom images now because I can completely control what customers are showing on their drawings. So it actually doesn't take that much time, especially if you have a dual monitor setup where if you're labeling and you want a custom picture, just look for it online, save the picture on on one screen, do one thing with that, and then in the other screen you have design so that you're not minimizing and maximizing. But just do it on the fly, and you do it as you go, and eventually you get to the point where you're not really looking pictures up anymore because they're there, unless you get certain drawings or requests of plants you don't have, and then you just look those up and you add them in there, and it's really nice having that.
And just to clarify as well, with regard to inserting your custom images, which if anyone hasn't used their own custom images before and strictly used Horticopia, once you navigate to that folder where you have your custom images, it does find it again the next time you go to use it, correct? Seems like it. Yeah. If you go to your imaging tab and you go to insert your image there, or the process you normally do.
I don't know how it works. That's really a thing on on DynaSCAPE's end, but it just seems like it goes right back there after I went there first, so I don't even have to go navigate and find my plant. So it's like it almost creates like this little temporary pathway to that folder, which is really, really nice. And I don't know how it works, but it's pretty slick.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's everything we have at this point. So, yeah, like I said, we'll do another seminar, or we'll attach that color section onto your next webinar you do, so people will still get a chance to see it, and we'll get this recorded. Sorry, go ahead.
I did want to show everybody something that Joe Salemi sent me this morning. He was unable to make this webinar because he's out ice fishing, and he sent me a picture. He said he was hoping to get back today, but he was having some car trouble. So, no, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to do it because I know he wasn't here to defend himself. But anyway, I forgot to go over that in the beginning, so that's not really Joe's car. Anyway. All right. Okay, Mike.
Okay, great. Thank you, Pat, for doing this, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. Like I said, this has all been recorded, and if I didn't get to anyone's questions specifically, I will. I'll make sure to email you directly and make sure that question gets answered. Or alternatively, if I switch this back over to myself here, I can put my information on the screen here. So that's our information, or my information here. If anyone has any questions, and if there's any specific things above and beyond what maybe Pat talked about in this webinar, feel free to give us a call as well. But thank you, everyone, and thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
All right, take care, guys.